What's up, Clipper Nation? And welcome to the Clip Service Podcast. Make sure to find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Clip Service Pod. I'm Rola. This is my co-host, Nick. And we will be getting right into it for the first episode of the new year. And first things first is we're going to rewind a little bit back to the 8 games of CLIPSMAS sweepstakes. We will be announcing the winners. There were 8 games total, and unfortunately we lost most of them. So we
won some too. It just wasn't didn't fit our bracket.
We had 3 wins. So we will be giving away 3 sweatshirts for the 3 wins against the Atlanta Hawks, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Houston Rockets, all before Christmas, which was a nice little treat. So I will be randomly selecting from a spin generator, and if you hear your name, we will be contacting you so we can get the address to send you your limited edition sweatshirt that only a couple people own and have. You'll be a
super limited edition. It's a super exclusive club. Let me get the sound effects ready. Give me a second. So that's what it's going to sound like, guys. Just
all right,
just giving you a warning.
Drum roll, please, for the first winner.
Here we go. The suspense is killing me.
And the winner of the first game against the Atlanta Hawks, the first win, will be Kat. I forgot your Instagram handle. Kat, you won. We'll be sending you a sweatshirt.
We got tan, we got blue, and we got pink. We got one more pink left.
Kat Hamilton.
Kat Hamilton. Congrats, Kat.
We will be sending you a sweatshirt. All
now.
Right.
Who's it going to be, Rola? For God's sakes.
Next winner will be my cousin, Josh Jcation on Instagram. Thank you for supporting.
Keeping it in the family. Let's go.
We will be sending you a sweatshirt. We'll be in contact. And then our final winner.
Here we go.
The final winner, I will be making another selection because this person has already won previously. So, give me
okay. Let's one more drum roll.
The winner is my other cousin.
Oh my God, dude! There's collusion going on,
bro. It's random, bro. It's the internet, man. Will be my other cousin Bimbola. Thank you for supporting. And I will be sending you a Clip Service Podcast sweatshirt.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Guys. And also, I'm going to give away one more just as a token of our appreciation. Yesterday I was at the game. We'll talk about this game further into the episode. Yesterday I was at the game against the Golden State Warriors. Great game. Clippers took a win. Ran into a fellow fan Clipper fan, shouts out Renee, gave us a follow. And so I wanted to give you a shout out, Renee, and reach out to us, DM us, and we'll hook you up with some free merch. So thank you guys all for watching the show and supporting us. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys.
Wish we can give away more, but the Clippers not too long ago were sucking really bad.
Yeah,
but we will have more.
It to be limited edition, bro.
We will have more giveaways in the future. But for now, let's jump right into what's been kind of a roller coaster of a stretch for the Clippers. Roller coaster of a way to end the year. Let's put it that way. So let's just go ahead and go over the Clippers stretch throughout December. Some of this we already touched on last episode. I know it's been a while since we talked, guys, so got a lot of catching up to do, but we'll make it as quick as possible. December 1st started out with an L against the Miami Heat. Then, as Rola had mentioned, took the dub against the Atlanta Hawks, lost to the Grizzlies, Minnesota, Houston, Memphis again, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, at that time, things were still looking a lot like the Clippers that we've come to know this season.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a game against the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that, for the most part, the Clippers really do circle on the calendar, wake up for, and that ended up being a 103-88 win. This was unfortunately a game that Ivica Zubac rolled his ankle in and was out for a couple weeks, which is something that I'll touch on in a second as well. But the Clippers were able to escape with a win, pretty decisive win. Lakers started to come back late in the game, but the Clippers handled business and took care of that one. One thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is a central theme throughout this entire stretch of wins that the Clippers have strung together, but Kawhi Leonard in this one really set the tone. 32 points, had 3 steals, 2 blocks, 12 rebounds. Really good stuff from Kawhi. Played 42 minutes. So the minutes restriction seems to be, at this point in the season, obviously lifted. Kawhi's really been in his bag. And like I said, really set the tone in this one. LeBron had 36. Outside of that, Luka had 12. I think he exited the game a little early in this one, but it's always good to take a win against the Lakers, and that was what the Clippers did in this one. Following game was against the Houston Rockets, a game that I was at. Really fun game to watch. A very decisive win for the Clippers in this one. 128-108, a 20-point win. Clippers did a really good job on defense in this one. I know that Kevin Durant isn't exactly the most welcome opponent to come into the Clippers building, and Clippers fans were letting him hear it. And the Clippers, as a team, really just ratcheted up on defense and kept the Rockets from finding a groove. The Rockets aren't a great offensive team. They get a lot of their points off of second chance opportunities. The Clippers did a good job at keeping them off the glass for the most part. In this one, as I said before, Kawhi Leonard dropped 41 points, led the entire game in points. 41 points from him was great to see. 29 from James Harden. He was awesome. Brook Lopez started in this one. This was not a great game for him. 5 points, 1 for 5 from the field. But he ended up looking a lot better as the games went by. I'll talk about that in a sec as well. The highest scorer for the Rockets was Kevin Durant, but I don't even think he played the entire fourth. The Clippers just took the Rockets out of this one. So this was really, really good to see. And it's a tough opponent too. Like, that's another thing about this stretch of wins for the Clippers that really stuck out to me, was that the Clippers weren't playing, a bunch of teams under 500. Like, these were pretty sound teams. The Lakers, Houston, and then the following game was against the Portland Trailblazers, who, their record doesn't show it, but they play really hard and they've beat some really good teams this season. And the Clippers were able to take care of business in that game too. 119-103. Victory over the Portland Trailblazers. Kawhi Leonard again, 28 points. This one, James Harden led the Clippers, 34 from him. And in this game, Brook Lopez really showed that, in Zoo's absence, his floor spacing ability, I mean, granted,
It's huge.
it is huge. Granted, throughout the season leading up to this point, Brook was missing a lot of open threes, just wasn't looking very good. Obviously, he's a liability on defense, but he was able to get it done in this one. 31 points from Brook Lopez, 9 threes. He was absolutely amazing in this one, added 2 blocks. So 34 from James, 31 from Brook, and 28 from Kawhi. This is really, really great. And like I said, the Portland Trailblazers are a scrappy young team. They play with a ton of energy, and the Clippers were able to kind of take care of this one and show that the talent, not talent disparity, but the fact that the Clippers had the talent available in this one to get it done, and they certainly did. The following game, so this was the 3rd win in a row for the Clippers at this point. Following game was against a really good Detroit Pistons team. Obviously, Cade Cunningham is in the running for MVP, playing like an absolute superstar this season. But Clippers, I mean, I say only. The Clippers held them to 27, but, did a good job of taking everybody else out of the game and, kept Cade under 30, which was really good. The one guy that I want to talk about in this one, James Harden, great game, 28 points. But the guy that I wanted to talk about in this one was Kawhi, who dropped a career-high 55 points, 17 for 26 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, so really, really good efficiency, 16 for 17 from the line. That's been a really, really underrated aspect of this tear that Kawhi's going on, is he's doing a great job at getting to the line, forcing the issue, trying to draw the fouls. But 55 points from him, setting the franchise best, tying it with James Harden, who dropped 55 against the Charlotte Hornets earlier this season. Literally, just you couldn't ask for a better game from Kawhi. Was really, really great to see. The biggest thing, I'm just going to take a second to ask you, Rola, like, up to this point, what have you seen from Kawhi? What have you noticed from Kawhi that's looked different than maybe we've seen him play in the regular season ever as a Clipper?
I think that he's just locked into scoring, which kind of takes him back to his Raptors days, where he was brought onto the team for one role and one job only, and that was to score, and that's what they needed him for. And I think once he came to the Clippers, we tried to expand his role. Make him into more of a playmaker, make him into a player that can do different types of things, which he is capable of doing. I mean, this is a future Hall of Famer. Probably, maybe, could be an All-Star this season, perennial All-Star, 2-time champion. So he's capable of doing multiple things, but I think
sorry, you cut out a second on my end, but I think we're good.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I think recently we've seen Kawhi just lock in on scoring. I think what the team has needed from Kawhi, from James Harden, is just a scoring output, and this is something I've been calling for like 3 years now. Is just Kawhi to just lock in on one thing, and that's scoring, and just leave the rest of whatever the team needs to the rest of the team. Now we have James Harden, and James Harden is playing very well, who can dish out the ball. We have players that can play defense. We have Brook Lopez that can hit from 3. So Kawhi doesn't have to be trying to fill in the gaps here and there. He can just play his game, and I think that's what we've been seeing. I think that's why we've been seeing him on a tear recently. He's healthy. He has the motor. He is just in his bag right now, and we're witnessing greatness, and that's all I can really ask for as a fan of basketball.
He looks really healthy too. I think that's been like a really important recipe to his success so far. Has been he looks like he's got his legs under him. It's been the Clippers have needed, obviously, given their record. I mean, they're only 13-22 right now, and things seem like they're going really well. But I mean, the Clippers were so down bad that they're still well below 500 after this stretch of wins. But the Clippers have needed every ounce of this from both Kawhi and from Harden. And it's been really good to see. A healthy Kawhi obviously is one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
But he's really forcing it, and he's not waiting for anybody to get their rhythm. Like if there's a bucket to be had, he's calling for the ball and he's going and getting it. So it's been awesome. Like you said, Rola, like he's playing like the superstar that he needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
In this stretch of games, the Clippers have, like, against the Rockets, against the Trailblazers, Pistons, Kings, have scored like 110 plus points in the game. Do you think that the Clippers have found their identity as, instead of a defensive type team, as an offensive type team where they would rather outscore their opponent completely than try to lock down their opponent?
I think it's a little bit of both. I definitely don't see the same defensive identity that the Clippers had last year. And that's saying something, obviously, because the Clippers were such a staunch defense last year. They hung their hat on defense. I think the defense has been really good. I mean, you see it like through this stretch of games. The Clippers have held their opponent below 100 1, 2, 3, almost 4 times, and scored well above 100 themselves. Like, the defense is there, but I think a big recipe to this success has been the offense. And I think a big part of that is, like we saw, Brook Lopez dropping, hitting 9 threes. The role players are hitting their open shots too. And I think that's allowed Kawhi and James to really not have as much, not have as many double or triple teams, like to maybe get their buckets a little bit easier than they would had everybody, all the other role players been missing their shots or not even taking shots like we saw earlier this season. John Collins, I want to give John Collins a shout out. Last game, he shot 4 for 8 from 3. Like, he's hitting his corner threes. Chris Dunn has increased his 3-point percentage from earlier in the year by about like 10, 11, 12%. Like, he's hitting his open threes. Kobe Sanders hitting his open threes. Brook Lopez hitting their open threes. Like, the role players are stepping up in a way that feels natural too. I don't know what it is. A lot of people were saying that a big part of it is not having Zoo. I've seen a lot of like overreaction to that on the other side, but I do think that I mentioned it earlier, and I think Rolly, you agree. Obviously, not having Zoo is a blow to the Clippers, but Brook Lopez, when he's playing well, specifically offensively, having that ability to stretch the floor and open things up in the mid-range for Kawhi, who is, one of the greatest ever in that area of the floor offensively, like, that does so much for the Clippers offense. And I think that it's been a lot of different things, but honestly, and we can touch upon this when I finish the recap, but I just want to mention, I think a big part of it is literally, and it's almost frustrating because why didn't we do this earlier in the season? But I think a big part of this is the Clippers were able to, like they normally do, woke up and played the right way against the Lakers because there's something to prove there, took a decisive win, and all of a sudden remembered that they can play basketball again. And that seems fickle and that seems like almost like stupid, but the Clippers were playing so much worse than they should have been playing this season that it almost took something that silly, like, oh, we can beat the Lakers, who are a very good team this year. And that began this win streak. So I think that there's a lot of things at play there. But yeah, the offense has been probably the biggest thing for the Clippers in this stretch. And that continued in the following game against the Sacramento Kings. Absolute domination. And granted, the Kings are going through it this season. Obviously, they're kind of on the verge of possibly having a fire sale. Sabonis has been out for like over a month. They're dealing with injuries, just not connected, from a locker room or on the court standpoint. But the Clippers were able to take this win 131-90. Took a 41-point win against the Sacramento Kings. Kawhi Leonard, 31 points in this one. Amazing. Was able to chip in with 3 steals and 1 block. So Kawhi Leonard's been doing it on both ends of the floor too, which has been awesome. I mean, that's that's what sets Kawhi apart from so many other stars in this league. And Jaylen Brown's actually given Kawhi his flowers recently. And Jaylen Brown's having an MVP caliber season as well for the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
But Jaylen Brown was talking about how he prides himself on being a two-way player, and he mentioned Kawhi as somebody that he looks up to. In terms of playing both ends and having pride on the defensive end as well, because so many stars are so gifted offensively and such great scorers, but the other side of the floor is where sometimes you can set yourself apart from the rest of the guys in the league.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of two-way players say that. When Paul George was on the Clippers, you would always hear his name when people were talking about being a two-way player, being able to score offensively and actually lock in on defense. And you kind of see the same thing with the Celtics, like Jaylen Brown, you just mentioned. But also, he's kind of an afterthought right now because he's injured. But Jason Tatum is very much like that. Although I'm a Jason Tatum hater. He is what most people would consider a two-way player that can score on the offensive side and then kind of lock down your best player on the defensive side. And that's the recipe that worked for the Celtics that helped them win a championship. And that is kind of something that, at least in this era, Kawhi has kind of been the face of the two-way scorer and locking in on defense type of archetype of player. So
totally.
Sorry to cut you off.
No.
I just kind of wanted to throw that in.
That's a great point. And that's been so apparent in this run from Kawhi. Is like, yes, he's able to go out and score and set career highs offensively, but he's getting it done too, and he's grabbing rebounds and he's making plays for others, and he's been really efficient. But he's also doing the dirty work on defense. 3 steals and a block, like that's really, really good. One guy also that I wanted to talk about in this game was a guy who has had a little bit more of an opportunity in Zoo's absence. Obviously, Brook Lopez has had his chance to kind of right the wrongs from earlier this season. Only had 8 points in this game against the Kings. But Yannick Cohn-Niederhauser, the Clippers rookie, the Swiss center, that I think this was at this point his career high. 16 points from him in this one in 25 minutes. Yannick looked great. He's still pretty raw, specifically defensively. He's a great shot blocker, but positionally he has trouble kind of like getting to his spots and rotating and stuff like that. But he's super athletic. He's got some skill. He's got some touch. He's got the size and athleticism to be a good rebounder, and he can block shots. And he looked really good in this one. Only had 1 block, but was 6 for 8 from the field with 16 points. This was great to see from Yannick. Him and Kobe Sanders have really impressed me this season in the minutes that they've been given. And during games where Brook Lopez is a little bit quieter or maybe isn't giving you what you need, maybe his age is more apparent, I would love to continue to go to Yannick for some minutes. I do think that like the Clippers should be able to trust him with some minutes, especially with the next iteration of the Clippers, coming in the next year or maybe even before the deadline. We'll see. But great stuff from Yannick. And that's kind of what I was talking about with the other Clippers players are really stepping up and chipping in. 10 in this game from Chris Dunn, 16 from John Collins, shooting 50% from 3 again in this one. Added 3 blocks. He's been great on the defensive end. So good stuff all around from the Clippers. This was a really, really great dominant win for the Clippers. Mm-hmm. The following game was against the Utah Jazz. This one I kind of feared was going to be a trap game. Obviously, we know what happened against the Jazz the first game of the season. The Clippers came in and got absolutely obliterated by the Jazz. Set the wrong tone right off the bat.
Yep.
But the Clippers handled business in this one too. Kawhi Leonard, 45 points, 16 of 29 from the field, 6 for 16 from 3, 16 3-point attempts. That's aggressive Kawhi. That's what we love to see. Mm-hmm. And then again on the defensive end, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Like it's awesome, dude. It's awesome to see. James Harden chipped in with 20 in this one, 7 assists. Yannick got a little bit of playing time in this one. Wasn't as good as he was the game prior, But Nico Batum off the bench with 14. He's been kind of rounding into form. I believe this was the first game that Derek Jones came back from, chipped in with 10 points, 24 minutes off the bench. This was, it was just great to have Derek Jones back. We're going to talk about some unfortunate news with him in the following game, which is just super frustrating. But 10 points from Kobe Sanders, like an all-around effort from the Clippers in this one. And the following game was the first loss in, I believe, 7 games for the Clippers, and it was at the hands of the surprisingly dominant Boston Celtics. 146 to 115, high-scoring game, both sides, but 50 points from Jaylen Brown. Like I said before, he's been playing like the superstar that he is, but been playing like an MVP level player. He's getting to his mid-range. He hit 6 threes, was 8 for 10 from the free throw line. He was great. Derek White was awesome, hitting some timely shots. 50% from the field from Derek White. Peyton Pritchard, as he does, hit some big shots for them. Simons hit some big shots. Talking about Pritchard, unfortunately in this one, Peyton Pritchard was going for a loose ball, fell onto Derek Jones's knee, the same knee that he had hurt prior against the Celtics. The last time that the Clippers had played them, when Jaylen Brown swiped at his knee, going for a loose ball as well. Unfortunately, Derek Jones had trouble getting off the floor under his own power, and it came out, I believe, a day or two after that Derek Jones is going to miss a month and a half with a strain of that same MCL that he had injured against the Celtics. Obviously, I know that it wasn't malicious. I know that guys play hard, but I think at some point you got to, be a little bit more careful. It's the same reason why I'm so critical of guys like Lou Dort. There's a line between playing hard and recklessness. At this point, I think it was in the fourth quarter. The Celtics were already up by 19. I don't think you should be jumping into people's legs personally, in that situation. I think it's just reckless, personally.
I think from a different perspective, and I personally agree, but from a different perspective, we've had a player that was very similar in that type of play style in Patrick Beverley.
Yeah.
And he was a fan favorite. He was always a fan favorite in any team he would play for, and was hated by every other fan base and every other team that played against him. And he was very aggressive. He was the cause of many players' injuries, most notably Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to say these players have to be careful when that's how they get paid. That's how they stay in the league. They have to have that high energy to stay in the league, and for teams to want them, because they want that type of guy to be on their team that's going to hustle for those balls and be willing to sacrifice everything to get that 50-50 ball. So I feel like it's kind of hard to shun another player when that's kind of with someone like Peyton Pritchard, who's 6 foot tall, isn't very athletic, has to make his money some way, and being scrappy is his way of staying in the league. And unfortunately, players like Derek Jones Jr. have to pay for it, which sucks. But it's just, I feel like it's part of the game. It's not something you can just say, tell a player to not go for a 50-50 ball. You know what I mean? So
it totally is. And I agree with you, completely. I think it's a situational thing. Like I said, in this game, the Celtics are up by 19. If you looked at the play, there was, I think that there was a way that it could have been avoided. But then, you look at the last time that Derek Jones got hurt too. Jaylen Brown's on the floor. The ball is 10 feet away, and Jaylen Brown swiping at a dude's knee. It looked like it was almost like an instinctual thing, trying to make a take foul or something to stop the play. But again, it's these are dudes that might miss the rest of the season or have career-ending injuries from this. I just think that there's it's a case-by-case basis, but I don't know. I think that there's a way to go about it responsibly. But that's just obviously a small microcosm of the game. That's just a little bit of a frustration, especially because it was the same player, same part of the body against the same team in the same season. was just kind of frustrating. And then Peyton Pritchard gets up and daps up Joe Mazzulla, and they're all like congratulating him on his hustle and stuff like that. And meanwhile, Derek Jones is like slamming his fist into the ground. Like, it just sucked to see. I just feel for Derek Jones, and I hope that he gets back healthy. Love Derek Jones. He was starting to round into form. I think that was like his fourth game back. So it's just tough to see. I hope that he heals quickly and is able to join the Clippers if he's with the Clippers post-deadline, which I hope he is. Hopefully he joins the Clippers healthy and ready to go down the road. But yeah, I mean, Kawhi Leonard came back down to earth a little bit in this one. Still had 22 points. John Collins had 22 points in this one. John Collins looked great. Was 9 for 10 from the field. Was perfect for most of the game. 3 for 3 from three. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough when the Celtics are hitting their threes. They're really, really hard to beat. That mixed with a really, really good two-way presence, specifically from Jaylen Brown. But I mean, 2 threes from Sam Hauser, 5 threes from Derek White, 6 from Jaylen Brown, 2 from Peyton Pritchard, 5 from Anthony Simons. Like, they just played a phenomenal game, and unfortunately, it just wasn't enough for the Clippers to overcome. But the Clippers bounced back really, really well in a game that I was at yesterday. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the Boston game, Rola?
Nope.
I
guess the only thing I do want to say is, dude, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of talk about Jaylen Brown and what he's been doing this season.
He's been
I
amazing.
Looked at his averages. Dude's averaging 30 points this season.
We were actually just talking about in our fantasy chat. Like, I don't think anybody aside from Jaylen Brown, Jalen Johnson, and Kay Cunningham have been better in the East. I think those guys have been amazing.
Holy shit. 50% from the field as the number one scorer on this team. Like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Jaylen Brown. I think people think of him as an afterthought because of Jason Tatum. But this is a guy who won a championship and was finals MVP and is like still playing like he is the best player on the team.
He's been incredible. And the most impressive thing too is like he's welcomed. He understood the narrative. He understood the assignment this year, and he's welcomed that. And he's like gone out and showed that like I can lead a team until JT gets back, and even if he doesn't come back this year, like we're a threat. Like they're a threat in the East now.
Yeah,
and that it's largely been behind him. Obviously, they have a bunch of really really good role players. Kata's had a career year. Derek White does what he does. Peyton Pritchard's amazing. They've gotten a lot out of their guys, but he's been the leader. And so, yeah, shouts out Jaylen Brown. He's had a great year. But the following game was against the Warriors at Intuit Dome. This was a game that I was at. It was about 50-50 in terms of Clippers to Warrior fan ratio. Intuit Dome was popping. Warriors fans travel well, so I was assuming that it was going to be like that. I haven't been in the building for that much of an away fan presence this season, and so it was wild to see. Warriors fans were super loud. I think a good portion of them were Laker fans that were just going to see the Clippers lose.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of Laker jerseys as well, but the Clippers were able to handle it. It's the worst. It's actually the worst. Can we talk about that for a second, real quick? Why is it that like the Lakers fans can attach themselves to like the Warriors or like the Knicks or like whatever team might be like facing the Clippers that night? And
they call it a hate watch, dude. Their only reason for being there is to watch the Clippers lose. Is to root against the Clippers. Is to like force negative energy into the building so the Clippers lose. That's it.
And I almost have to respect that level of pettiness. I just don't think I could spend money out of my pocket to go watch another team like maybe not lose. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, this was a great game. A lot of drama in this one. Steve Kerr was very livid after what he thought should have been a goaltend by John Collins. Ran out on the floor, was berating a ref, got thrown out of the game. That was a great moment for Clipper fans. The building was loud, and everybody was waving goodbye to him. And then in the last 30-ish seconds of the game, Steph Curry, who was getting hot up to that point, brought it to within, I believe, 3 or 4 up to that point. He committed his 6th foul. He fell out of the game. A lot of drama there.
Dude.
But yeah, there was just a lot of, chirping back and forth in this one. But obviously, the guy that we've been talking about for a while, Kawhi Leonard, 24 points, led the Clippers in scoring, 10 for 25 from the field. The Clippers were starting to struggle a little bit in the time that he was on the bench. But when he came back in, he was able to kind of right the ship. But the guy that I wanted to talk about this in this one was a guy that basically acted as Kawhi's wingman in this one. And it was probably the most unlikely guy that we could think of. Kobe Sanders had his...
Not unlikely, bro. Not unlikely.
Unlikely to the casual fan.
Mm-hmm.
But Kobe Sanders in this one was the secondary ball handler. James Harden sat out of this game with a shoulder soreness or something like that. Ivica Zubac was back in this one. I believe this was his second game back. Was quiet, 10 points, 11 rebounds. He's kind of getting his legs under him. But Kobe Sanders was aggressive. He took over on ball handling duties when Kawhi was getting doubled. He was the guy that I trusted with the ball, maybe even more than Kawhi at times in this game. Was 9 for 16 from the field, was hitting turnaround J's. His mid-range is becoming really, really sound, which is awesome to see. Hit 2 threes, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Did have the 3 turnovers, but I mean, he was impressive in this one, hitting turnaround J's over Steph, turnaround J's over Jimmy Butler. He was welcoming the moment, and it was great to see. Jordan Miller also chipped in with 9 points. Chris Dunn hit a couple big buckets, pretty much iced the game for the Clippers in the down the stretch. Hit a 3, hit a floater, and then hit both of his free throws. But yeah, Kobe Sanders is the guy that I want to talk about in this one. Roland, what do you have to say about the young fella getting his time to shine?
Dude, I've been a fan of Kobe Sanders. I think that he should be getting more minutes. It's unfortunate that when James Harden is on the floor, Zoo is on the floor, now Brook Lopez is getting more playing time, that he doesn't get as many minutes. But I think he's a player that is going to be big for us in the future. Hopefully by next season he'll be getting legit playing time consistently, if all goes according to plan. But I can't say enough about this guy. He plays hard. He plays with a lot of energy. He kind of reminds me of a player. He kind of reminds me of someone that OKC would be jumping for.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Terrence Mann a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. A player that understands his role, hustles, and never runs out of energy. And that's basically the entire OKC team. So
yeah.
I think that he's a huge player, and he's a guy that I want to see in a Clipper jersey for a long time.
Me too. It's interesting because he's on a 2-way contract right now, I believe. And the Clippers, as it stands, currently don't have the roster space to convert him to a guaranteed contract. Obviously, Chris Paul is still on the roster. I don't even want to talk about that situation. But I would imagine that he'll be dealt before the deadline. That might clear up some space. But I think that it's a no-brainer that Lawrence Frank needs to guarantee this guy, convert him into a guaranteed contract, sign him to a multi-year deal. At the very least, he's a solid role player that the Clippers can move into the next era of Clipper basketball in. And he's been awesome as a second-round pick in a nationally televised game on NBC, coming out and doing this, stepping up when your lead ball handler is gone, being adding 20 points, being right behind Kawhi in that regard. It was really awesome to see. Kawhi even gave him a shout out, I believe, on the post game interview. He was talking about he's also from San Diego. Kobe Sanders is also from San Diego.
He is.
And so that was just really cool to see. I love to see it. He's got good size, for a guard. I think he was kind of more of a forward in college, but obviously he's got the ball handling chops. It was great to see. And the Clippers were able to take a 1-point win because of it. It was a nail biter, like I said, down the stretch. The Warriors had a chance to win the game. Obviously, without Steph, you're a little limited offensively. And I think had Steph been in the game, it might have gone a little bit different. But regardless, Clippers were able to handle business. Also, shouts out John Collins with 4 blocks, 18 points. He's been awesome. Yeah, just a great way to kind of cap off this streak of games from the Clippers. And in saying that, Rola, I want to ask you, before we get out of here, I want to ask you a couple things. The first of which would be, with this stretch of games, I know that this has been a season of despair. I mean, the Clippers are literally, they after all of this, after this huge win streak and how well they've been playing, the Clippers are still only 13 and 22. So they got a long ways to go if they want to be even a 500 team. Does this change anything for you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think so, but I wanted to ask.
Sorry to cut you off, but
no, it's fine.
I absolutely not. And it's even hard to do these podcasts in a positive light, because like if we address the elephant in the room, what's the end goal? Like we're in 11th place currently. Like, are we gonna finish top 3 in the league? Most likely not. No. So like, what's the point? We're not gonna be a top 3 team in the league. Like when the season's over, if we get lucky, we'll barely make it into the playoffs. Then we're gonna have to play OKC.
OKC's been struggling a little bit too, but I completely agree.
Bro, I'm sorry. Even though they're struggling,
I don't like our chances. I don't like our chances.
OKC in a 7-game series, I don't want to see. Denver, even though Nikola Jokic is injured currently, they're not a team that we want to see. We saw how it went last season. This season, we're even worse. We're an even worse team. So far at least. So I don't know. It's just, to me, it seems pointless. It seems like it almost is like what the fuck are we cheering for, dude? Like, that's how I feel. Like we're just, it almost feels like the standard is like mediocrity, and we're just like happy to see our team be like level 5 out of 10.
Well, dude, yeah, that's the thing, is like, after all of this, after this glorious run, because the bar is so low, like, the Clippers are still like way, way, way behind what they need to be if they want to even compete. And so it's like the biggest double-edged sword, man. Like, I have to be happy about the way that we've been playing, but I have to be realistic too. And I think by saying that, I have to want the Clippers to be sellers over being buyers at the deadline. I've heard, I mean, all of this is just, I mean, with the deadline approaching, you hear a lot of hearsay. I've heard that the Clippers are going to be buyers during the deadline. I think first and foremost, I think the first plan of attack needs to be to get rid of Lawrence Frank. That's never going to change for me, because I do not trust. I totally agree. I don't trust a guy that's done all of these things. I don't trust someone like that to build a team for the new era, right? So regardless of what happens, I think that needs to be the first order of business. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. I'm kind of like worried that it's not, because he's, seems to be a very trusted member of Steve Ballmer's,
like, still running shit.
Brain trust. Yeah. But, yeah, I have to believe that the Clippers still need to prepare now for the next era. And, with the Kawhi aspiration thing, I've heard that it's a little harder to trade him, regardless of how well he's playing right now. Yeah, because a lot of GMs are worried that, like, he's going to be suspended if the verdict comes out on this and finds out that he was involved in something. Obviously.
So when are they gonna? When is this gonna come? Is it this season? Like, how?
I don't know. They're still doing their investigation. My guess is it'll be after the All-Star game, because the All-Star
Wow.
game's at Intuit Dome.
Wow.
So I don't know. Obviously, you can try and trade James Harden. I've heard that the Timberwolves and the Rockets, I think, are interested in James Harden. Zoo, with the injury, is looking like, and seeing how the Clippers played without Zoo, he's looking like he's a little bit more of a trade asset than we maybe thought, especially with how strongly the Celtics and the Pacers allegedly want to pursue him. You got expiring deals like John Collins and Bogey that you can move. So I don't know, man. Like I still have to be realistic, unfortunately. I've loved the way that the Clippers are playing. I really have, and it's been awesome to see. But I have to be realistic and say that I think the Clippers need to start making moves for the future. What that entails, we'll find out. But I think that the Clippers need to start making moves for the future wherever they can, if the right price is on the table before the deadline this season. Talking about expiring deals, this is the last thing that I want to ask you, Rola.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard. So let me just start by saying this: the Atlanta Hawks have made it public that they want to move on from Trae Young, and that they've worked with other they've worked with other teams to try and find a new home for Trae Young. I've heard that they're okay with taking expiring deals because to free up cap space, and because Trae Young's trade value allegedly is so low right now, they would probably have to include draft capital in moving him. I believe he makes $43 million, so that's a big price tag to take on. But I'm wondering if what we hear is true and they want expiring deals, would you, hypothetically, if the Clippers were to package John Collins, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and some filler pieces for Trae Young and his $40-something million salary, would you want to do that? I know Trae Young's an undersized guard. He doesn't play a lot of defense. He's a little injury prone. I like Trae Young a lot. I think he's a really hard player to build as your focal point as an undersized guard. But what would your opinion on that be?
Dude, I don't know, bro. I really don't know, because Trae Young, I just looked up his age, and he's 27. Like, he's a year older than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So it's kind of like he's still a pretty young player. He is.
He's one of the league's clutchest players. Welcomes the villain role.
He's taken the Hawks to the playoffs like multiple times. Has orchestrated multiple upsets in the playoff. But I don't know. I think that for me, what I would like to see from the Clippers is a full reset, and just to start from the bottom. But I mean, Trae Young, I wouldn't be mad. I'm gonna be real. I wouldn't be mad if he was like if there was like a 5-year, like 4 or 5 year plan with him being like
a part of it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Trae Young, we're planning for his like ultimate peak at what, 30, 31 years old. And by the time he's 31, like, we should have all of the pieces that should complement him for a championship run. Like, I wouldn't be mad at it, but like you said, he is injury prone. He's undersized. He's not the best on defense. Although against Ben Simmons, he is the best.
Yeah, apparently. That's a whole nother thing. Jesus.
But yeah, I wouldn't be mad about it. I just, like, personally, I'd rather go a different way. And I think that I think a lot of people got to be fired from the Clippers leadership. And I think with that, just reset the whole team. Whoever Lawrence Frank, except for Kobe Sanders, whoever Lawrence Frank brought on the team, like, just reset, dude. Like, I don't think that Clipper fans are going to be mad if we got rid of Kawhi and James Harden. Like, yeah, like, it's going to suck. But when you think about it, like, we have 2 Hall of Fame players on the team and we're 11th in the West. Like,
yeah,
there's no point. You know what I mean? So I say get rid of everyone.
Yeah, I think it's become an even more polarizing topic now that the Clippers are playing well, because I think several weeks ago, almost every Clipper fan or most Clipper fans would have said, yeah, no brainer, get rid of everyone. But now, classically, there's like a weird like wrench thrown in that. So, Clipper Nation, if you're listening to this, if you're watching us on YouTube, let us know what you think. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways to dissect this. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot to break down. Let us know what you think of the way that the Clippers are played lately. Do you think that it's too late? Do you think that the Clippers still have a chance of making the play-in and maybe getting in? Should they buy? Should they sell at the deadline? Would you like to see Ice Tray, one of the league's great anti-heroes, in not Lob City? What the hell are the Clippers now? What do we call them?
Dude, trash.
Yeah. Would you like to see Ice Tray come to the trash? We'll see. There's a lot to unpack, Clipper Nation. So let us know what you think. We appreciate everybody that participated in the sweepstakes. Congratulate the winners. We're gonna continue to do little things like this moving forward. We hope to see you guys at the games, and we hope to have you guys keep tuning in and supporting the show. So we really appreciate it. As Rola said up top, you can watch us on YouTube. Find us on Spotify, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and on Deezer. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Clip Service Pods. You can get involved on all the giveaways. Yeah, guys, I think that does it, Rola. Did you want to say anything before we head out of here on this fine day?
Nope, that's it for me, man. That's it for me.
All right, well, it ain't no lip service. This has been the Clip Service. Rola, what do we tell the people?
Let's go, Clips!
Let's go, Clips.